We've all probably heard stories about sleepwalking, but what exactly is it, and why does it occur? Sleepwalking is formally known as somnambulism, and is characterized by behaviors performed during sleep, such as sitting up, standing, or walking while a person is sleeping. Sleepwalkers typically have no recollection of the event, and when they're encountered in the act, it's difficult to wake them up. Sometimes sleepwalking can be triggered by specific factors such as drugs and alcohol, and can occur in people who are not normally sleepwalkers. Anti-anxiety, antipsychotics, and anti-seizure medications have been known to induce sleepwalking in unsuspecting patients. Stress from both psychological and physiological sources have been known to cause sleepwalking behavior. In other cases, it can be a lifelong disorder. Sleepwalking disorder is characterized by the repeated occurrence of sleepwalking behavior. Sleepwalking is known to have a strong hereditary component, with up to 80% of sleepwalkers with a reported family history of sleepwalking. About 15% of children sleepwalk, and they typically grow out of it by age 15. Of the 2 to 5% of adult sleepwalkers, most of them sleepwalked as children. There are 5 different stages of sleep, with 4 being part of the NREM sleep, known as non-REM sleep. During the initial stages of NREM sleep, our brains transition from wakefulness to light sleep, characterized by shifts in brain waves, notably a decrease in brain activity. By the time we transition to the 3rd stage of NREM, our brains begin to fall into a deep sleep where it is difficult to wake up. After the 4th stage, we transition to REM sleep, short for rapid eye movement. During REM sleep, our brain activity goes up and dreaming occurs. Although your brain is more active, your body's motor pathways are inhibited, which causes temporary paralysis of your skeletal muscles. When this system is fully functioning, there is no body movement. Sleepwalking behavior happens mainly during the first 3 hours of sleep because muscle atonia doesn't settle in until REM sleep. Movement is possible during NREM sleep and occurs predominantly in stages 3 and 4. Although the individual isn't conscious during sleep, his brain has unbarred access to the same motor system that we use in our daily lives. The movements can range from minor twitching to complex behavioral patterns, as you will hear about later. Patients with sleepwalking disorder have an abnormality in their sleep wave regulation during NREM sleep, which is believed to be caused by sudden arousal in NREM sleep. In this figure from a 2000 study, this patient was studied with electroencephalograms and other various monitors to study his sleep patterns. On the bottom middle is a diagram of the patient's brain waves during stage 4 REM sleep. Notice the spontaneous and erratic change in his brain activity upon a spontaneous sleepwalking spell. The same study uses SPECT neuroimaging, short for single photon emission computed topography, by injecting patients with a radioactive isotope into their bloodstream and recording gamma ray emissions to indicate areas of increased brain activity. During a sleepwalking episode, patients exhibit increased brain activity in their anterior cingulate cortex, while maintaining the same level of inhibition of the prefrontal cortex as a non-sleepwalker. The cingulate cortex is responsible for with emotionally associative behaviors, whereas the prefrontal cortex is associated with awareness. These findings are consistent with the idea that sleepwalking is a dissociated state of motor arousal during persistent mind sleep. Extreme cases of sleepwalking have been reported, such as the Kenneth Park story. Ken had a loving relationship with his in-laws. Ken had been a sleepwalker since a child and also had a long family history of sleepwalking. Stress from his gambling problem and many sleepless nights from taking care of his infant daughter compounded the effects of his disorder. One night, during a sleepwalking spell, he got off the couch he was sleeping on and drove to his in-laws' house around 3 a.m. in the morning. Bewildered, his in-laws opened the door and let him in. He started to choke his father-in-law and ultimately stabbed his mother-in-law to death. Only when he saw the bloody knife in his hand did he start to come to his senses and realize something horrible had happened, and he drove to the police station to turn himself in. Park's story is a testament to how such highly coordinated tasks can be performed without conscious thought. Although treatments such as sedatives and hypnosis have been used to treat the symptoms of sleepwalking, there is no definitive cure. In most cases, sleepwalking is an innocuous thing that patients live with. The more interesting cases continue to inspire art, film, and literature.